Hi everyone, welcome to Veru. So today we're talking about Veru, and apparently CEO just did a recent interview which was an exclusive, and it's available on a Korean website, so I had to translate it, and apparently there's some really good details in there, and I'm going to go through that website with that interview. But first I'm going to talk about the share price. Share price is $12.19. And the valuation is $976 million. So overall, it's just been going up like a roller coaster, going up a bit, going down a bit. So it's basically in the hands of traders because there's not much news. So people are trading in and out of the stock continuously. Basically, they're buying it when it comes down low, and then basically it goes up after that. And then they sell it down after that, and they buy it up, sell it down, which is very typical of a stock that doesn't have much news in between. So hopefully this interview basically is going to be a game changer in terms of information that we have about the company and them getting approval for the COVID drug. So as it says, exclusive, and here it says Veru, where it's, it basically means Veru, but the translation of Google is basically getting it wrong in terms of that, but apart from that, that's not a big problem. So it says Chairman Mitchell Steiner says supply of treatment for coronavirus in late autumn. So basically, if we were to just skip to the important parts, it says basically Mitchell Steiner, Chairman and CEO of Veru, he said 3 weeks ago at a meeting with the FDA, I was advised to submit an emergency use authorization, a request to discuss our treatment with the White House coronavirus response team, where Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, belongs. And basically, he said, if you submit an application for emergency use approval next week, we expect it to be approved within a few weeks. So yeah, like that is basically that sums it up. That is the juicy bit of information that is coming out of this interview, that says 3 weeks ago they were told if you submit early next week, it might be approved within a few weeks. So if we do the math and we go 3 weeks ago, they said next week, so basically minus 1 week after a few weeks, and then basically they said a few weeks after that, so it's already been a couple of weeks. So potentially and we could be 1 more week or 2 more weeks away before an approval comes through, which is massive, right? If they potentially get this approval by the middle of June, then yeah, like it's much sooner than I thought it would be, and it's going to be a game changer for the share price because it's going to start valuing the huge potential that comes with this approval, basically, because they're going to be able to sell their drug Sabizilin, and everyone's going to be basically putting orders with them, and they're going to be making massive revenues off this immediately, basically. So yeah, like you can see that basically the share price is holding at $1 billion because people are kind of not really wanting to kind of buy into it yet, but just like we want to buy it at a okay valuation because we can't really value it for the massive upside yet until the approval comes through. But at the same time, we don't want to like sell it down to anything lower because basically people will be buying it at that stage as well. So generally it's holding around this kind of zone for the time being, and if the approval comes through in a week or two time, say 2 weeks time, then potentially, the company starts to get things going. Like they're already talking to suppliers already. So the domestic supply of Sabizilin will be made through Mizon, a new drug development company. Steiner said, I have been friends with Mizon for a long time. And it says, we are working with Mizon to submit an application for emergency use approval as soon as possible to the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety. We strongly suggest that you pre-order the quantity. So there we go, they've got a lot of confidence going with them, And basically, whatever was said in that FDA interview, it just sounded like approval was very clear, and it was just a matter of time. But I mean, it could just be a problem with the translation, or it also could just be Mitch Steiner just being, a bit too bold and just saying these things without, thinking that it could be, actually rejected. So, that's why I think the market's going to be a little cautious. But, this is good to hear things about this in the absence of information from the company itself that, hey, the chairman's coming out and talking about these things, though he really should be telling the investors, this is actually a very important information that should be told to investors, not just to like a Korean news agency through an interview. But whatever way we find it out, as long as we find it out, I think that's good enough anyway. So Steiner is saying this because it's highly likely there will be a shortage of treatment for severe COVID-19 until early next year. Chairman Steiner said, in the beginning, Veru has a supply of 56,000 patients per month and plans to increase the treatment to 100,000 per month in late fall. And as we know, that was said in the interview that it will be basically July. It sounds basically July, 57,000 enough to supply 57,000 patients. August will be 100,000 and September will be up to 250,000. So we basically were told that information in terms of how they plan to ramp it up. So overall, it's incredible news to have that come out and then find out that actually it could be quite soon, which will be a massive boost for the stock. I don't think it's that widely available type of information. We will see how the market reacts if the market's actually found out that this interview's actually been done. The interview was just released not too long ago. Basically the 1st of June, at 8:49 p.m. and then modified at 11:30 p.m. So overall it wasn't too long ago, some really good snippets of information that will possibly mean it's a game changer. If you hold the stock, it just means just wait another 1 or 2 more weeks before we possibly find out the best news possible, because once this approval comes through, it's the one thing that will basically change this company and make it incredibly valuable. So overall, that's what I need to say about this company. The minute I read it, I was like, it gets me super excited. I don't know if it gets you super excited, because as an investor in these companies, that's the information that you look forward to. That's information that basically can change everything. But until approval actually comes through, that's what actually counts at the end of the day. Like, we could read this information, and we don't actually know how accurate it is or how what Mitch Steiner is actually saying. So at the end of the day, until approval comes through, we're still fingers crossed, waiting, but potentially if it comes within 2 weeks, that's a good time frame, because it means we don't have to wait too long. Originally I thought it might be at the start of July, but potentially it sounds like it might be coming sooner, which will be awesome. Until then, good luck investing everyone.